Hey, and welcome to my kitchen. Today I would like to show you how to make a gluten-free, lactose-free and egg-free spaghetti carbonara. We're going to go through the steps in the video, and I do really hope that you enjoy. We're going to start by adding the salt to the water. This should be quite heavily salted. It should almost taste like salt water. When the salt is dissolved, we're going to taste it. The pan for the bacon is on medium heat. And then we're going to taste. And here, if you find that it needs salt, you can add salt. And this is quite important, because if the water is not salty enough, the pasta will dilute the taste of the dish. First we have to chop up the bacon. Here I have 160 grams of bacon. This is a bacon that's been salted and smoked with no additives. In this dish it's important to go after a meat with a little more taste, because normally you would use pancetta for a dish like carbonara, but it's a little more mild. And in this dish, because you don't have any eggs, you don't have any cheese, and you don't have any butter, it's very important to go after a cured meat product with a little more taste, because a lot of the taste in the dish is dependent on the type of meat you use. So we're going to start by taking off the skin of the bacon, and after that we're going to chop it up in bite-sized pieces. And here you can chop it up in a size piece that you would like in your dish. Now that the water is boiling and the water is correctly salted, we're going to add the pasta to the boiling water. And here I have 200 grams of pasta or spaghetti. And the brand I have is made with 100% of corn. And to make sure that they don't stick to each other, we are going to stir in the pasta. And how you have to boil your pasta very much depends on the brand of pasta you have. Then I'm going to make sure that the pan is on medium heat, maybe a little lower, because we want the bacon to render out some of the fat before it starts frying. And then we're going to chop up the bacon in bite-sized pieces. I'm going to speed this up for you, so you don't have to see me do this at a normal speed. And while I'm doing this, if you enjoy the video or the recipe or both, you are more than welcome to subscribe. And you can also hit the notification bell, so you will get an alert when I upload a video. I'm planning to upload a lot more videos, especially focused on dishes that are gluten-free, lactose and egg-free. So if that is something you find interesting, you are more than welcome to subscribe. And now I have added the bacon to the pan, and I'm just going to lower the heat a little bit so that the bacon has a chance to render out some of the fat. If you have a bacon here where you have a hard time rendering out the fat, a trick can be to add a little bit of water to the pan. This will help render out the fat, and when the water is evaporated, then the bacon will start frying in the fat. And here I'm just stirring a little bit in the bacon to make sure that it gets even heat. And then I'm going to chop up a small onion. And here I'm chopping it up in medium-sized pieces, so it also gives a little bit of texture to the dish. And I have also sped up this part of the process. You can also choose to chop up the onions very finely, so they almost melt into the sauce. And then I'm going to chop up some chives very finely to top up the dish. at the end. Here you can use a lot of different herbs to substitute chives, but I really like chives on this dish. I had a really hard time getting the fat to render out of this bacon, so I ended up adding water, but that wasn't enough to get the fat to render out, so I had to put a little bit of oil on the pan to get the bacon frying. And this again very much depends on what kind of bacon you have and how it acts in the pan. And while the bacon is frying, I stir the bacon regularly to get a nice even color. When this color then is achieved and the bacon is a little bit crispy, we're going to add in the onions to the pan. I am again here going to stir regularly in the mixture of the bacon and the onions until the onions get a little bit caramelized in the pan. Here the caramelization is the base for a carbonara that is intense and deep in flavor. When a good caramelization has been reached, I'm going to turn off the heat of the pan, and then I'm going to add in this cashew milk mixture, which is 120 grams of cashew milk. This is a mixture that's been blended from 40 grams of cashew nuts and 80 grams of water. And it's been blended on a high-powered blender. The reason to take the pan off the heat is that the residual heat in the pan is enough to make this mixture thicken. And you can see here how this mixture quite quickly thickens. And at this point I'm going to add in the nutritional yeast. This may look like much, but it's actually only 8 grams. And this is for getting the quite powerful cheese flavor that you would like in a carbonara. And then I'm going to season with black pepper. And here you can go as crazy as you like. I like a quite peppery carbonara. And then I'm going to add a little bit of salt. But here you have to watch out because both the bacon is salt and the pasta should also be quite salt. So don't overdo it. So at this point the pasta has been cooking for around 8 to 9 minutes. So I'm just going to taste if it needs a little more or it's okay, but it needs around 30 seconds to a minute more to be done. Then I'm going to take some of the pasta water to thin out the sauce a little bit, because this cashew mixture will almost get a little bit too thick, so it's always a good idea to thin it out with either the pasta water or a little bit of water. Here it's all about getting the right consistency. If the sauce is too thick, it's quite hard for the sauce to coat the pasta correctly, so it should be a little more thin than you would initially think. So I'm even going to add a little more pasta water. Then when the sauce has achieved a nice consistency, I'm going to add in the pasta little by little and then mix around until the sauce is coated on all the pasta. And again, you don't have to use spaghetti for this dish. You can use a lot of other varieties of pasta if you can't get gluten-free pasta as spaghetti. And then I'm going to taste. Always remember to taste before plating up the dish. I don't feel like my dish needs anything, but here you can add salt or pepper if you find that your dish needs it. And then I'm going to plate up the dish. And I'm also going to add some of the bacon pieces on top. And then I'm going to garnish the dish with the chives at the end. I hope you enjoy this recipe, and if you do, you are more than welcome to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell if you would like to know when I upload a video. And you can always, if you try the recipe or you have a question, you can always leave a comment and I will try to answer. So that's a gluten-free, lactose-free and egg-free spaghetti carbonara. Now I'm going to enjoy this, so please get out of my kitchen.